Today, new drug applications for niraparib in ovarian cancer and regorafenib in liver cancer, and highlights from the 2016 Kidney Cancer Symposium and 2016 LUGPA Annual Meeting. Welcome to OncLive News Network. I'm Justin Gallagher. A new drug application to the FDA has been completed for the PARP inhibitor niraparib as a maintenance therapy for patients with recurrent platinum-sensitive ovarian, fallopian tube, or primary peritoneal cancer. Tesaro, the company manufacturing niraparib, initiated the rolling submission of data from the NOVA trial for the NDA in September 2016 after it received a fast-track designation from the FDA. The application is based on results from the Phase 3 NOVA trial, which showed that niraparib reduced the risk of progression or death by 73% versus placebo. The study was conducted in patients with germline BRCA-positive, platinum-sensitive recurrent ovarian cancer. At a median follow-up of 16.9 months, the median progression-free survival was 21 months with niraparib and 5.5 months with placebo. These findings were consistent across all subgroups, including patients who did not harbor BRCA mutations. Additionally, the median time to progression or death during the first subsequent therapy after this study was 25.8 months for those who received maintenance niraparib compared with 19.5 months for placebo. Overall survival findings were not yet mature. At the time of the analysis, niraparib was found to be associated with a 27% reduction of the risk of death versus placebo. However, this was not found to be statistically significant. In liver cancer, a supplemental new drug application was submitted to the FDA for regorafenib as a treatment in the second-line setting for patients with unresectable disease. This application was based on results of the Phase 3 RESOURCE study, in which the median overall survival was 10.6 months with regorafenib plus best supportive care versus 7.8 months for placebo plus best supportive care. This represented a 38% reduction in the risk of death. Additional findings showed that the median progression-free survival in the regorafenib arm was 3.1 months versus 1.5 months in the placebo arm, which was associated with a 54% reduction in the risk of progression or death. The overall response rates were 10.6% versus 4.1% with regorafenib and placebo, respectively. In patients who received regorafenib with median time to progression was 3.2 months compared with 1.5 months for those who received placebo. Regarding stable disease, the overall disease control rate was 65.2% with regorafenib versus 36.1% with placebo. Regorafenib is an oral kinase inhibitor that is currently approved by the FDA for the treatment of patients with metastatic colorectal cancer and advanced gastrointestinal stromal tumors. At the 2016 Kidney Cancer Symposium in Miami last week, presentations focused on utilizing new treatments recently approved for patients with renal cell carcinoma. One combination of particular interest during the meeting was of lenvatinib and everolimus, which was approved by the FDA in May 2016 based on the Phase 2 Study 205 trial. In the study, the combination of lenvatinib and everolimus was found to reduce the risk of progression or death by 63% versus everolimus alone. Additionally, the median progression-free survival with lenvatinib plus everolimus was 14.6 months versus 5.5 months with everolimus. A second, much-discussed topic at the symposium was centered on combining targeted therapies with immunotherapies. A handful of these studies are already underway. For example, a Phase 3 trial is looking at frontline lenvatinib with either pembrolizumab or everolimus versus sunitinib. Dr. Tony Shueri of Dana-Farber Cancer Institute spoke on these studies, adding that immunotherapy and targeted therapies are already competing with each other in the field of RCC, and that immunotherapy could overtake targeted agents. The large Urology Group Practice Association annual meeting was recently held in Chicago. Presenters at the meeting discussed the arrival of effective systemic immunotherapies for patients with bladder cancer. A key question raised was whether urologists were prepared to take a leadership role with such treatments. Currently, atezolizumab is approved by the FDA, followed cisplatin therapy. Nivolumab has also been granted a priority review for the disease, while pembrolizumab has demonstrated an improvement in survival in clinical trials. In a session, Dr. Daniel George of Duke Cancer Institute outlined his approach for utilizing immunotherapy and also challenged urologists to get more involved. He specifically called immunotherapy the biggest, most promising, innovating since the advent of platinum. A second key lecture during the LUGPA meeting focused on the earlier use of systemic immunotherapies for patients who are Bacillus calmette-guerin unresponsive. A few intravesical therapies have been explored without too much success, while checkpoint inhibitors and gene therapies may hold more promise. That's all for today. Thank you for watching OncLive News Network. I'm Justin Gallagher.